Coronavirus infections are hitting record levels in many countries across Europe as winter has taken hold, prompting a call for action from the World Health Organization, which described the new wave as a grave concern. Soaring numbers of cases, especially in Eastern Europe, have prompted the debate on whether to reintroduce curbs on movement before Christmas holiday season and on how to persuade more people to get vaccinated. That conversation comes as some countries in Asia, with the notable exception of China, reopen their tourism sectors to the rest of the world. Regional WHO head Hans Kluge said that the current pace of transmission across the 53 countries of the European region is of absolute grave concern, adding that the spread was exacerbated by the more transmissible Delta variant. The virus spreads faster in the winter months when people gather indoors, and Kluge warned earlier that if Europe followed its current trajectory, there could be 500,000 COVID-related deaths in the region by just the month of February in 2022. So what's going on in Europe? What is WHO doing all about it? Are they again trying to in fact blame somebody else for their own mistakes? We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining me on the platform is Dr. D.K. Gupta, CMD of Felix Hospital. Also with us on the show is Padma Shri Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairman and MD of Nephron. Dr. Ishwar Gilada, infectious disease specialist and health expert, joins us on the program as well. And last but by no means the least, Dr. Professor Anil Arora, Chairman, Institute of Liver, Gastroenterology and Pancreatology, Biliary Sciences, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Thank you everyone for being a part of this important conversation. Dr. Bagai, let me start by asking you a simple question. In your gumption, in your objective opinion, what is going on in Europe? You know, there is a smaller population over there. Did they let their hair down too early? Is it the vaccine that is not as efficacious and efficient as some of the ones that have been produced in, let's say, India?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think one of the most poorly managed COVID regions worldwide has been Europe, and in Europe, I would say UK single-handedly. There have been scathing attacks on this, even from their own scientific community. In fact, in British Medical Journal today in the morning, there's an article which has mentioned not only poorly managed, but the Prime Minister of UK has promoted wrong science. This is the heading of the entire editorial. There are many reasons why Europe is seeing this kind of surge, maybe the fourth or the fifth surge, and it doesn't seem to be ending. Europe, in spite of hoarding a lot of vaccines, is perhaps one of the most poorly vaccinated, continents, having adequate amount of vaccines to begin with. Only 46% of all over Europe has been fully vaccinated. The rate of infection now is 1 in 52 Europeans are going to get the infection. That's statistically documented. So the geographic areas, there are huge voids which are allowing transmissions to happen. So more amount of unvaccinated or partially vaccinated population, more the transmission and more the mutations. So we are now seeing what we call as the Delta Plus, which is called as AY 4.2, which has 3 specific mutations. But the reason of these mutations, which are causing this kind of issue for us for increased transmission in Europe, is these are point mutations. That means they cause super antigen shifts. So there are changes in the structure of this virus protein, and there is what we call as a recombinant shift. So from the B lineage, it is now shifted to the E lineage. Very, very important, Vineet, is that...
What does that mean, Dr. Gilada? What does that mean to a layman like me who doesn't understand medicine the way you do?
Yeah, is that for me?
Yes. Yes. No, that is for Dr. Gilada. That is for Dr. Gilada. Yeah. Dr. Bagai, if you were done.
Thank you, Vineet, for having me here on the show.
Yeah, Dr. Gilada, go ahead, please.
So what I would like to tell that, there are 3-4 issues. Number one, the so-called percentage which we decided for herd immunity, 70%, maybe a notional. It may be 80%, it may be 90%. So no one knows. Secondly, in some of the European countries, particularly the erstwhile USSR, is very poor. And in Russia itself is very poor. It's only 35% population is fully vaccinated. Thirdly, it's possible that the real-time efficacy of the vaccine is much less than what they have contemplated. That is another issue. And lastly, my notion since beginning has been that more the education, more the defiance. So they don't have any kind of law, they don't have any kind of ethics.
Okay, Dr. Gilada, Dr. Gilada, I think we are losing your network. Dr. Gilada, we are losing your network. I think you are driving and there is a problem with your video coming and going. In fact, let me take a reaction from Dr. Anil Arora on this as well. Dr. Arora, how grave is this concern and what should India be doing at this point in time? You know, there are certain commercial flights which are open from Europe to India as well. Is that something that India needs to be watchful for, considering the fact that we are perhaps on the cusp of tiding over this crisis with as little as 12,000 cases a day in the last 24 hours?
I fully agree with you. I think whatever gains we have made till now, it is high time that we consolidate these gains. If we have been able to vaccinate a major chunk of our population to the tune of about 60% with single vaccination, and we are able to have now sanction also for the co-vaccine, it's high time we jack up our ability to manufacture the vaccine and let it go to the people who really need it. The very fact that the virus is not going to leave people who have not been vaccinated should be a good reminder to us. If you look at what happened at Diwali celebration yesterday, if you look at any congregation or gathering, there were hardly any public measures which cannot be put into practice, come what may. If there is a celebration, people will forget whatever had happened to them even in the very recent past. So the only way is that you have to, by hook or crook, able to deliver the vaccination to the people who have not been vaccinated. Government of India is making a very good attempt to send the messages and coax the people who have not been vaccinated. We should remember that we have one of the biggest population even today in the world which has not been vaccinated. And with the travel which is being allowed from the European and Central Asian countries, I think we may be able to see the second surge or the third surge of the COVID infection soon. It is high time we continue to vaccinate, educate the people, the very need for vaccination. Because if you look at the world data, those who have been vaccinated have not suffered from severe disease, they have not required ICU care, and there has not been much mortality. We should not let the guard go down.
We should not let the guard go down. And Dr. Gupta, this is a big crisis in Europe, and this was obviously something that was not anticipated, that India was hoping that the world and the economy of the world is going to come back to normal. What kind of a precarious position does this put India in as well as the world in? We already have 100 crore plus people who are vaccinated in India, but we need to increase that tally as soon as possible because there are still people who are coming in from various parts of the country into India. Dr. Gupta, if you're there with us.
We should think that, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
Go ahead, Dr. Gupta.
So I would like to tell you that we cannot control COVID, particularly focusing on one country or one continent of the world. We have to control it globally because we know if virus will be replicating elsewhere in any part of the world, then there will be chances of mutation. And if there will be mutation, then any vaccine cannot be effective. It depends on which type of mutation is there. If it is a genetic shift, then definitely the vaccine will not work. Like we've seen the flu vaccine also, there are two types of mutations, genetic shift and genetic drift. The smaller mutation known as genetic drift, in which we need not to change the vaccine. But if there is a genetic shift, like we have seen this is also sub-variant of Delta virus AY4.2 that is becoming more transmissible in the more than 50 countries of the Europe right now. And it is creating problem in these countries. So definitely, if it means that maybe the vaccine will be not much efficacious against this new sub-variant. It means we have to control this COVID worldwide or globally. If it is replicating in Africa, Europe, Asia or US, it will not, because we cannot prevent virus from traveling from one country to other country by just putting up the flights. It cannot be possible. Therefore, I think WHO, United Nations, bigger countries, developed countries, they should have a bigger plan to control it worldwide. Otherwise, virus will be replicating in any country and it will be transporting in other countries. And if there is a mutation, I mean, we have to change the treatment protocols. We have to change the vaccines also, and it is not an easy process. It will take 3 to 4 months to develop new vaccine against new strain. And now inoculation is one more problem.
New
and
vaccine, okay. Okay, I don't know. I haven't heard that theory so far. Dr. Bagai, will there be a need for a new vaccine if this virus is going to spread like wildfire through Europe and also penetrate our country? And will the older vaccines that almost half of the country has taken, will they be rendered ineffective?
Vineet, so there are two different formats as platforms of the vaccines. One is, of course, the mRNA vaccines, which have not touched the Indian shores. And the second is the vector-borne vaccines, both Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech. And I must add that both the vaccines in India have shown a very, very good, steady result. We've not got detailed studies of the durability of these vaccines beyond 6 months as yet, pan-India. But what has been shown in the mRNA vaccines, at least as far as Europe is concerned, that it has both mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, the efficacy to begin with at 1 month of 92 to 87% has dipped to 37 to 42% at the end of 5 months. So therefore, maybe their community will probably require a booster, which CDC has been promoting and propagating. Coming to the wider part of Europe per se and seeing this surge, there are a lot of new research articles which have shown, in spite of 2 vaccines, if you don't wear a mask, the risk of indoor transmission is 25% in fully vaccinated. That's a very high percentage, especially in close clusters, congregation or crowds. And events like Euro 2000 or the Wimbledon or the music concerts which are happening and the cricket matches there haven't done Europe any good because the infection has already spread. They've documented it in no uncertain terms. Also now there are studies to show that mass and social distancing, there are 2 large studies, one from Bangladesh and the second from Denmark, which have shown unequivocally that mask and social distancing give you a protection in the range of 93.4% going up to 98.1%. That means it's a near 100% protective if you keep social distancing and mask. They've done a lot of modeling studies beautifully to show this. So I don't think Europe has followed the correct guidelines. They've gone very slow on the vaccines. The double vaccination rates are still very low, and pockets are entirely unvaccinated. So which are the nursery for the mutations and for the transmissions. And second thing is they promoted non-masking. They promoted non-social distancing. I think the complete format has gone all wrong.
All right, the complete format has gone all wrong. Dr. Arora, is this going to be a case where India will have to reinforce certain restrictions again, in your opinion? Because very recently we just saw restrictions being lifted and the economy crawling back to some sense or semblance of normalcy. Is this a red alert for India in the future as well? 500,000 deaths by February, and you can't avoid some sort of pilferage from Europe into India. Will we have to go back to putting those restrictions once again?
You see, if you look at the logistics of country like India, which already had a faltering GDP even prior to the advent of the COVID, I think these measures will be too harsh. We have been very good in terms of vaccination program, and in the earlier phase of our vaccination program, we had limited supply. Now with newer companies coming up or manufacturing the vaccines, and our ability and the willingness to continue the social measures as suggested by Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, that something which can give you 100% protection, not only from this virus, but from other respiratory diseases also, including tuberculosis. Why not go in for it? So rather than spending money on developing new vaccines and trying to chase the changing epidemiology or the genetic drift and shifts of the virus, why not concentrate on the basic steps? If you try to undo the basic steps, you'll end up with the problem which the whole of the Europe is seeing. And if you look at the logistics of the data, it is only those who have not been vaccinated, who have been lowering their guard, who have been not following the basic steps of using a mask or social isolation, they are coming around this virus. But then we should realize that these are the very people who are threat to the whole of the world, to the whole human mankind. So if they cannot protect themselves, there will be a source of perpetual infection which will be landing up in every part of the country. So at our own end, we should jack up our vaccination drive. We should insist both on conscious level and if needed at the level of the state as well as the federal government to strictly implement the basics of masking and social distancing.
Right. And before I go to Dr. Gupta, I'm curious to know, Dr. Bagai, has the WHO botched it up again? Obviously, that Europe is the epicenter of a resurgence of COVID-19 and a multitude of variants. Where was WHO once again?
Yeah, Vineet, I think the core point really comes down is that we've been let down very badly by almost every world authority as far as governance and protocol and foresighting is concerned. So very quickly, because of want of time, we don't have an investigation as yet from China. That's a cliche. We don't know what the origin is. That's a cliche. But really the fact is, with regards to the masking protocols, with regards to the supervision of the drugs, be it HCQ, be it ivermectin, be it convalescent plasma, and so on and so forth, they botched it up. Lastly, more importantly, is they've not given an equitable distribution of vaccines at all. All the organizations and the committees which have been found wanting right now have left the world languishing. This is not going to end the way WHO has been handling it, or CDC indeed has been handling it. I'm a firm believer that you have 6 regional centers of WHO. My real question to them is, who are holding very, very high salaried plus jobs in various nooks and corners of the beauties of the world, what have they done? Who's going to make them accountable? I think we are supposed to make them accountable, because every tax-paying citizen from India, as India is contributing towards the world bodies annually, I think we need to ask these serious questions from them. There was no pandemic alert. There was no governance with regards to vaccination, with regards to drugs, with regards to distribution of the vaccines. And now there are certain entire continents which are again on fire. This bushfire, Vineet, is not going to come down till we get to the origin of the science. The science is masking and social distancing. And let me add this, that our government, ICMR and the Prime Minister have promoted this no end. I'm a firm believer, wear your mask, even if you are double vaccinated, keep social distancing. You have a full life ahead of you from next year onwards. You can party and socialize then. These 2 months dedicated to our nation, your life will be saved.
Dr. Gupta, is this because, the norms of social distancing, protocols of living with COVID-19 have not been adhered to in a continent like Europe, which has better healthcare, which has more, education, leverage standards, and yet we get to see, such a plight for not doing the basics amongst a pandemic?
Definitely, I totally agree with you. They are investing much more GDP as compared to us, and they are having more robust infrastructure as compared to us, but they were not following COVID-appropriate behavior. Yeah, they are lifted early. We all know that vaccine cannot prevent transmission of infection between people. Vaccine can give only you protection regarding the serious disease, regarding developing of the complication, or it can prevent from the death. It will not prevent the infection or spread of infection. So therefore, if we want to control COVID, not even eradicate or eliminate, if we want to control the COVID, then we have to definitely follow combination of these two, that vaccination plus following of COVID appropriate behavior. If we are not following these two basic rules, definitely we are not doing justice with our citizens. And if citizens are not following, then they are not responsible. If government are not able to implement it at ground level, they are accountable for this. Therefore, I think government of India or any government across the world, they should work on both these basic facts. They should increase the coverage of immunization, and secondly, till COVID is not controlled, they should implement COVID appropriate behavior at ground level. And I will reiterate one thing more, that WHO, as Dr. Gawai said, that definitely they should provide vaccines to different countries across the world, because if we are not providing, we are not having good coverage in poor countries, definitely there will be the mutation, and that mutated virus can be transmitted to any other countries also. I think we have a lot of money in developed countries. We should have contribution from these developed countries regarding the increasing the production of the vaccination in different countries, and these vaccines should be supplied uniformly to all the countries. And we have made the forums for supplying these vaccines, but still they are not supplying it. They are not having the vaccines also. Even developed countries having extra vaccines, but they are not giving to the poor countries. So I think there will be some uniform policies for vaccination also across the globe, so that we can control it globally.
Dr. Arora, just a passing thought. You think that if the WHO had given more thought to approving vaccines that are really efficacious against this terrible virus, perhaps the situation in Europe would have been different?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Vineet. We should understand the incompetence of WHO and maybe the limitation of the WHO. So WHO may ask, I am sure they would have asked the developed countries to contribute the vaccination for the underdeveloped world, but nobody listened to it. That only shows how incomplete the body is, that is totally dependent on the funds which they get from the major countries. So I'm sure if they would have given enough vaccination to the underprivileged countries, look at the way the vaccination have been mal-distributed. Only 2% of the African population have got the vaccination. And across the board, if they would have been doing an equitable job of distribution of the vaccination, I'm sure the virus, which is supposed to be spreading only amongst the human beings, we could have stopped it. This, I think it is an eye-opener for all of us to know that WHO and UN agencies, they work for the limited countries, they work for the limited number of people who fund them and not for the human mankind in general. I agree with you, if they would have had a good distribution across the board throughout the mankind in the human world, this situation wouldn't have arisen.
All right, Dr. Bagai, concluding thoughts from you. We only have a minute left and then we wrap up.
I think we need to go back straight to the basics for the next 3 to 6 months till India reaches a significant level of community-acquired immunity. We are at 108 crores as we speak today, just under 108 crore vaccines. We've done about 35 to 36% double vaccinated and reaching about 76 to 77% double vaccinated. I think still there is a last mile reach which we need to do. We need to keep our precautions up. We know that winter transmits more. The fog and smog and pollution transmit this infection more. I think we need to continue through the media platforms across the board, all the correct messaging of not only vaccination, but social distancing and masking. This is a festivity time. People are mentally fatigued. We need to reassure them that the end is near, but not right now.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.